I asked AI, specifically Midjourney, to create me Kawaii Style colouring pages, and as we can see, they actually look pretty good. So, what we're going to do is take a look at these 4 different Kawaii Style colouring pages that I have just here. Then we're going to go over to Midjourney, and I'm going to share with you the prompt that I used and how we got to these images, so that you can see the process. Now, let's take a look at these. So this is the first one. Now, with these images just here, these would be the final product, or the final colouring page, as these have been upscaled and turned into colouring pages. So if we take a look at this, we have that shadow on the right hand side, and we also have a border around this. Now, I'm not going to talk about upscaling and everything in this video, but if you do want me to create a video all about upscaling your images and turning them into colouring pages, then drop that comment down below. Because it's not as easy as just taking the page from Midjourney and slapping it in a book. You still need quality control, and you still need to format every single page. So if we come back over to here to my upload section, let's just click on one of these. We can see that this has a transparent background, it also has the shadow, and it has a border round the outside, so you still have to format everything as well. It's not just as simple as taking the page and slapping it in a book. But nonetheless, let's actually take a look at these, because I feel like I've been waffling on. So this first one, this actually looks pretty good. Again, I am going to show you the prompt that I used and how we got to these images near the end of the video. But anyway, we can see that this image looks pretty good. There's a couple of flowers on her hair. The hair looks easily colourable. Is that correct? Looks easy to colour. The flowers down here look good as well, and the whole page as a whole looks pretty good. Now if we move on to the next one, this looks pretty good as well. I went with the style of kawaii, and then I tried doing some girl colouring pages. So if we take a look here, these leaves look okay. The flowers, that one looks a little bit off, but nonetheless still looks good. The hair, the flowers, the top, the bow is the only thing that looks slightly off. Now if we take a look at this one as well, this one didn't quite come out how I want it. The hands down here had one too many fingers. So if we come back over to here, I believe it is this one just here, so we can take a look at the actual image. If we look down here, we can see those hands. They don't look quite right, so what I went ahead and done was just took them out of the image when I actually created this colouring pages. But apart from the hands, all of this looks really good with these wavy lines, the flowers, the eyes, the top, all of that looks good apart from the hands. So this is why you also need quality control when creating your pages or your artificial intelligence colouring pages. Now let's take a look at the last one before we head over to Midjourney. Now this is my favourite one out of all of them. The hair looks good, the flowers behind it, the wavy lines, the top, and the flower on the top as well. This looks perfect. So this one would actually be perfect for a colouring book. So let's head on over to Midjourney so you can see the prompt that I actually used to create these colouring pages and how we ended up on these images. So here we are in Discord, because Midjourney is a bot within Discord. And remember that Midjourney is text to image. So we create our images, our colouring pages, through the words that we feed Midjourney. So let's take a look at the prompt that I started with. So here it is just here. So I started off with Kawaii Style colouring page of a cute, adorable girl with a long, adorable hairstyle. Big, cute, adorable, kawaii eyes. Fantasy, magical, mystical, unusual. Black and white, wavy lines, colouring page for kids, no noise, crisp thick lines, and outline art. Then we went with the dimensions 2 by 3. Now if you don't do 2 by 3, it's going to do the standard 1 by 1, which will be a square image. Now if you're creating 8.5 times 11 colouring pages, then you're going to need the 2 by 3, so it's easier to create like this. So that's the prompt that I started with, but it's not what I finished with. So when you actually create colouring pages, you want to make variations and you want to build your image. So this is what I started with, but it's not what I ended up with. So we're going to cover that as well. But first, let me just go over why the prompt is structured like this and how you should structure your prompts. So the first part just here is where I have the style. So this is Kawaii Style colouring page. So I always start with the style. Now if you want to understand all different types of styles, then I did create a video, I think it was last week, just here, called Can You Use Artificial Intelligence to Create Colouring Books? Now this video, I am going to link it right there, right now in the corner of the screen on a card. So come through and have a little watch of this, because you're going to see lots of different styles. So you can use all of these different styles in combination if we go further through the video, but you can use that in combination with these descriptive keywords to come up with some really nice prompts. So remember, that video is in the right hand corner. Go through and have a little watch so you can check out all of these different styles. Then when you're crafting your prompts, you can have those different styles at the beginning. So right here again we have Kawaii Style colouring page. So that's the style. Then I have a description of what I want. So that's a cute, adorable girl with a long, adorable hairstyle with big, cute, adorable, kawaii eyes. So that's the description of the page that I want. Then we have some descriptive keywords. So that's fantasy, magical, mystical, unusual. Then black and white, wavy lines, colouring book page for kids, no noise, crisp, thick lines, and outline art. So that's how I craft my prompts. I have my style, then a description of what I want, along with descriptive keywords. So always remember that when crafting your prompts. If you stick to that, then you can come up with some really nice pages. But that's the first one that I started with, and as we can see, it was looking okay. There's a lot of mistakes on here, so I wouldn't go ahead and use this again. You want to build your images first. So I was looking at this thinking this looks okay, so I did the same again, and we got these images just here. Now this gave me an idea because we have some stars in the background just here. We also have some background stuff just there. So what I went ahead and done was use the same prompt, but then I also used surrounded by stars. So just another descriptive term. And this is where we started to get somewhere. So taking a look at these looked okay. Now I really liked this, and you can see it has some type of flower along with the stars in the background, but it's also black. So that gave me another idea to use isolated on a black background, as we can see just here. Now using that keyword is going to pull up images and create images with a black background, as we can see just here. So I used that, and then I started making variations on that as well. So we then have the extra keywords surrounded by stars, isolated on a black keyword. Now, I meant on a black background. Now with this one we have daisies in here, because if we take a look at this one above, I saw the flower here and I was thinking that would actually look really good with flowers. So I also put wearing a daisy t-shirt. So now we have wearing a daisy t-shirt surrounded by stars, isolated on a black background. So this is what I mean when I say you want to build your images. So now if we take a look at this, this is starting to get somewhere and starts to look pretty good. I like this top one. We have the flowers there, stars in the background. It's isolated on a black background as well, and it looks pretty good. So right here, I switched out the isolated on a black background for a white background. But as we can see, they just don't look as good as the black backgrounds. So I did it again with the black background, and this is where we started to get some really nice imagery. So this is where I upscaled 1, I upscaled 2, and I upscaled 4. Or should I say 1, 2, no, 1, 3, and 4. And then I did another variation on the one with a white background, which I didn't quite like, so I just kept going through, adjusting, making variations, and creating colouring pages that look good. So I got with this one and I settled with number 3, which is that one just there. But again, this is what I mean by saying you build an image. So you might start off with a real simple prompt, but then through making variations and adjusting, you might add extra keywords just to make it look good. So if we go back to just here, we can see that we have wearing a t-shirt. So I took out the daisies, then we have surrounded by daisies, and that's isolated on a black background. Remember, we have the style first, which is Kawaii Style. Then we have a description of what we want the page to be, just here, along with all those descriptive keywords. Then, after all that, I actually upscaled these ones, like I said, and then nearer the bottom, if we keep scrolling down, we're going to see these upscaled colouring pages, which then I turned into actual colouring pages. But that was the process that I went through to create these pages. And again, as you can see, once they're actually finished, formatted and turned into colouring pages, they look really good. But always remember, never take your images and slap that into a book and try and sell that. You still need to format the pages, you need to turn them into colouring pages, you need to upscale them, and you need to increase the DPI, that's dots per inch, which is very important when it comes to printing. Now, if you do want to see a video all about upscaling, formatting and turning them into colouring pages, then drop a comment down below letting me know. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Also, go hit subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you can be notified for any further videos. That being said, I've been Paddy, this has been Stacking Profit, and I'll see you again soon.